Hi guys, welcome back to this video again. So this is the third part of our series of island tour in Taiwan. So in part 2, we visited the Capybara Park where we have first-hand experience with the capybara, and then we went to Kenting, which is famous for its beach and the sunny lifestyle. And then we ride through the beautiful east coast of Taiwan through Taitung and the success town, Chengkong. We also have our experience with the local fish pottery market where they do live auctions of tuna and monster fishes. So in part 3, we will be sharing our experience riding up through the east coast up to Hualien, which they have just experienced a major earthquake in a few weeks back. So we also get the chance to visit the international award-winning whiskey factory in Taiwan. So since we have visited the most western and the southern part of Taiwan, so we will also be heading towards the most eastern and northern part of Taiwan. And of course not missing the famous tourist spot, the JIfen and Shifen, before we head back to Taipei City and to check out the popular Shiling night market. Alright guys, so let us begin the part 3 of this series of the Taiwan Island Tour. So we started off from Chengkong Township where we have our lunch here at the seafood restaurant, and then we will follow the Route 11 all the way up north towards Hualien, and the journey is about 118 kilometers. So this Route 11 will be a coastal road where you get to see a lot of the east coast of Taiwan, which is linked towards the Philippine Sea and also towards the bigger Pacific Ocean. So crossing through the east coast, you can consider it as the longest stretch of road in between where you can see interesting stuff and also take some breaks. You also pass through a few interesting towns and some bridges, and then you will continue on the endless coastal route where you see cliffs and curvy routes, the B roads, which are really interesting to ride on, and beaches with endless of waves and some sunflower field along the way, which you couldn't resist yourself to stop by and really enjoy and soak in the whole environment. But we felt that it's definitely worth the time to enjoy this really stunning sceneries before we move on. Once we start seeing a lot of the tunnels and some of the closed road, we know that we are pretty near Hualien, where those roads are being blocked off because of rockfalls. You will see all these rockfall, rock slides all around when you are heading up the curvy road, and you also witness some roads being destroyed. Half of them are gone, and you also see a lot of big rocks at the side of the road where the rescue team or the defense team has already cleared them off to the roadside, so this road can be reopened to public. Saying all this, we couldn't resist and felt that actually the human race or the human civilization are very weak. With all this innovation and technology that we have, we are still prone to the mercy of Mother Nature. With that very grand thought, we continue along the way. Very soon we'll reach this ocean park. Then we know that we are pretty much at the end of this coastal road. We took this bridge to turn into the Hualien city, but just right after entering it, we witnessed some accident between a motorcycle, a scooter, and a commercial vehicle. So pretty much everyone slows down and check it out. Instead of heading towards the north, so we head down south again using Route 11C because we wanted to visit this very English themed Harry Potter kind of style Starbucks that was newly built in 2024. This Starbucks is built inside a park which has really nice outdoor scenery, and the building itself looks very old English where you will have your stove and fireplaces. They will also offer some unique merchandise to this store and Hualien area. So after having some seasonal drinks and also some cakes and pastry within Starbucks, we utilize this very cozy place to look for the accommodation for the night within Hualien. So we push on during the evening, and so the route to Hualien is pretty well lit. So riding at night in the city or towards Hualien city is pretty much safe. We see very little cars. Of course, you must take note of the other road user like the pedestrian and some heavy vehicle. I guess it's probably because of the earthquake, everyone is avoiding Hualien. The road seems pretty empty, but once we enter Hualien city center, we notice that it is a bustling town. I guess the local Hualien people are business as usual. Earthquake might be really common to them. And interestingly, so far we only see parking space this big in Hualien. And we also spotted the parking attendants, where you only need to pay for the parking fee if they spotted you and give you their ticket. And very soon we reaches the hostel that we will be staying for the night. This is a very tiny room, but it's $30-ish, pretty decent priced. So they have this AI speaker. 小度小度，
我在。
播差不多先生，热狗。
我猜你是不是想听 MC Hot Dog 差不多先生？
是的。
我抽的差不多的烟，又过的差不多的一年，时间差不多的线，我花的差不多的钱，我也要差不多的线，做人要差不多的钱，我在差不多的边缘。
So after ample time toying with the AI speaker, we are hungry, so we came to this goose meat specialty store in Hualien to have our dinner. So, steamed goose, goose blood, goose fat. So this is goose intestine fried with chive and bean sprout. This is a noodle but white in color. Look like rice noodle. After our dinner, we came to this night market, which is pretty much empty. I guess it's a very tourist spot and there's no domestic tourists around here because of the earthquake. 好可怜啊，冷清清。
来100块吗？把它玩完呀，玩看看吗？In fact, this night market is really huge, so we managed to walk to the other side. Same situation there, pretty much everything is closed early due to the insufficient crowd there to support the business. Somehow we managed to meet this cute little boss and we decided to buy a juice from him. Manager of the store. So this is a collapse building in Hualien. Now we have a demolish it almost full. So this whole stretch of road everyone is affected. After all the sightseeing and also roaming around Hualien city, we decided to head back to the hotel to take some rest, and in between we felt some shaking, but we are not very sure whether it's earthquake or whatnot, but we're pretty sure we felt something. But after a while nothing happened, so we continue what we are doing in the room and have a really good night rest thereafter. We woke up next morning, we have a wonderful sleep. Nothing serious happened in the middle of the night, and it is a wonderful morning. As you can see, very clear sky. So we came to this Jadestone DIY store where we have made an appointment the day before. So basically in this Jadestone DIY store, you are allowed to customize your own Jadestone as a gift or as a decorative. So the owner will run you through the different Jadestone, how they come about and their characteristic. Then we can go ahead and pick the gemstone that we like based on colors and quality and whatnot.
And then we will share with the owner or the craft master about the design that you want to create. He or she will basically draw out the design so you can move on to the next stage, which is to grind the stone.
我们这一定要加水，为什么？因为这金属轮在转的时候，你要有水，它才会安全。啊，你先拿磨掉一些，然后之后要靠近这个角，要用这个比较固定的往里加，让它试出去，再来压这一角。你不要一开始就用这一角在压，这样很慢。
Now he's sending it to polish. So there are different grades of sandpaper that requires to sand and polish. And then I think there's this buffling machine. 没问题，没问题。我要感谢你今天为我们而开。So now we are rushing to beat the traffic timing. Because the highway will close at 12. The next opening timing is 5 p.m. So now it's 10:57. We will be there around 11:40. So let's see whether we can make it on time.
From chatting with the local along the way, we found out that there's this app in Taiwan where it's called 幸福公路, which means fortunate roads, which is the same cute deer mascot that we saw along the west coast. You can find this app in the Google Play, which is really useful. So through this app, we found out that the only road that is heading towards Taipei has only 3 opening timing, and each of them is about an hour. So if you miss them, you have to wait for the next one or the next day, because they are still in the midst of repairing and clearing up the rocks from the earthquake. So they probably need to close the road and have time and space to do it. We can see that early in the morning, people are already queuing up. You can also see that Route 8, which is the one from Hualien, you can cross all the way to the other side of Hualien, is closed because there are still a lot of debris inside.
Here, waiting for the road opening.
Luckily, we were on time, 20 minutes before the opening. After some refuel and grabbing some breakfast, we head off to the queue, and the queue was insanely long.
You can see how long the queue stretched all the way to the end. Just to wait for the right time for this entry path to open. You can see landslide there. Another corner and just like a 5 meter. We are in front. Okay.
Once the road is opened up, you can see everyone is rushing through. It's pretty insane, just like how we crossed the checkpoint in peak hour. So once we enter the initial part of that closed road, everything looks very well maintained, clean. You will only see some stones and some small rocks at the side of the road. You can pretty much speed through it, and once we enter second part of the road, you will see more damages. You will see bigger stones, bigger rocks at the side of the road, and also some of the covers and shelters are being punched open by big rocks. So while we are happily cruising, we realize there's a slowdown in traffic. So we're wondering why the traffic slows down since it's just open. It shouldn't be anyone inside there. Thereafter, we realized that there's a broken lane. That means one lane is being stoned off by all the fallen rocks pretty heavy damage there, and some of the lane are being blocked off by the rock itself, so you only left with a single lane to do bi-direction, and the rocks are really huge. Then after, we continue cruising through tunnels and after tunnels, and very soon we reaches the tail end of the block road. So once we pass through Route 9, which is the earthquake damaged route, once you enter Route 90, so basically you'll pass through a lot of very scenic route where you get to ride along the coastal line, where you can see really stunning sea view again. Then after, we hit this B road in the mountain pass where we saw a really huge rock that has been painted with the Chinese God of Mercy. Not sure why is it there, but it's pretty grand, very eye-opening. And then we spotted a convenience store. Couldn't help it, I have to stop there and buy myself a ice chilled drink. So to my surprise, I found my new favorite drink. And then we took a detour to Yilan County. We heard that there's a distillery there, Kavalan, which is a very famous whiskey. So we decided to head there and check it out. Me being me, trying to be a smart aleck, we saw some bike parking there. I assumed that that's the place, and we decided to park there as well.
So there's a wine tour, selected time only.
So we realized it's the wrong building, but there's some tour ongoing for the Golden Carriage group instead of the Kavalan whiskey. The distillery is pretty huge, so once you enter it, it's pretty grand. A lot of space and a lot of display there, art pieces and decorative and their own wooden cars. And then we found this tasting area.
This is whiskey tasting.
Definitely we don't advocate drink and drive. We didn't drink, we just smell, if you believe so.
它是2015的世界冠军。那2款的话都会带有巧克力的风味，可是
So if you're not into alcohol, there are other selection as well. There's some snack and some cafe at the upper level, and there's also a garden hall. In this garden hall, there are more whiskey, where you can get a taste of the more premium range in a private room, and of course more cups, more bottles that you can have a taste of, and also a whiskey lab, which you can make your own concoction of whiskey.
So in this DIY room, they allow you to blend your own whiskey. You just select the taste profile, and then you can create your own bottle.
Since the rain is getting heavier and we can't really go off at this timing, so we decided to take this time to visit the distillery.
Okay, heavy rain again. So back to the raining weather. It was all good the past 3 days, and now storm is back. So this is the gallery or the distillery, so we are going in to check it out.
So once we enter the building, you'll see some product poster and also a guide on different zones, and you are required to go up to level 2. You will be faced by first section where they share with you about the whiskey history, and then they will also show you the process of what are the ingredients required to make a whiskey, and also the cask or the barrel, you call it, the different kind of barrel that produce different tastes to that whiskey, how the barrel is made, and how the whiskey is being stored in to extract the woodiness flavor from the barrel.
So they will show you the different coloration of the alcohol when it's a different age and time within the barrel. So the darker the color, the more age it is. These are all their machineries on how they do it. So this is the process, and these are the second stage, fermentation. Start from the right and then ends on the left. I think here they will take the yeast to extract out the alcohol and sugar content from the malt. So this is the distillation process. This is where they store all their barrel and wait for it to age.
Thereafter, we head to the store to check out what we can buy as a gift.
You get to buy their beer. It's under the same group or the company. 这小只 So they come in this super small tube bottle. So I don't know who will buy it in a carton. So one carton has 6 bottles inside. Also realized that the pack size is 700 ml. It's not 750.
After realizing that the rain is not gonna stop anytime soon, so we decided to move out from the Kavalan distillery to the next town as far as we can get, and this Chechen city. So after all the awkward moment, we were given a second unit which has a heater inside for us to dry all our wet clothing and equipments.
So this the room is just like a studio. One bed, one bathroom, and then one balcony. So this is like a shared kitchen. Okay, so this is a building that we stayed at last night. So pretty simple, like a condo style kind of building. It comes with hot spring water.
So since we have returned close to 1,500 km, we are very close to the instructed service interval. So we are required to send this rented scooter to the nearest authorized dealer for servicing.
And they also check the tire pressure.
And we also have to inform the rental store and also show them the proof of servicing. And then they will refund you the cost of this servicing, which is just an oil change. Through the conversation with the mechanic and the boss man there, we're introduced to this stretch of road for breakfast, which is really local. We ordered some local mincemeat soup and some noodle dishes. We also have some fun interaction with this local little girl.
So now after a quick breakfast, we are heading to an ice cream shop recommended by the SYM service crew. a-zhi Yuxingchen.
We were told that they supply the ice cream to JIfen, Shifen with that famous popiah roll ice cream. It's supplied by them.
So these are some of the Taiwan celebrities came here. So they have some antique display in the store. I guess this is an old push cart or whatnot. This is taro, this is pineapple, and then there's a peanut at the bottom. So 3 for 60. So it's like a sorbet. So it's more like a sorbet and then an ice cream.
After our early dessert, we pushed on to the northern part of Taiwan. We were riding along the beautiful coastline and we stopped by and saw people surfing along the coast. So after the breakfast, we travel along the coastline through Route 2 all the way up to the easternmost part of Taiwan to check out the place and also take some picture.
This is the most eastern part of Taiwan. Apparently the abandoned buildings here. There's a lot of algae on the rock. Get all the cracks.
So after some time admiring the waves and the easternmost part of Taiwan, we will head down to the famous Shifen. We will use route 2 and then split to 2B to enter the Shifen Street. After the Shifen Street, we will go through the small route of 106 to the JIfen Old Street.
So pretty much nothing open on the weekday.
Once you arrive in the train track area, everyone is crowded there. So this is kind of expected because this is a very touristy place. We decided to come here because I have never been here before. Just want to have a first-hand experience of a tourist place, being a tourist.
So it's just an old train track. This is the final train station. Okay, so different color have a different meaning to it, and of course more color the higher the price. Okay, you can see that most of the wishes are health, wealth. I think there's a trash problem here. This lady has been picking up a lot of litters all around. I don't know how he drove in. This is a wooden cable bridge. There's this old bridge. Looks like a lot of tourists. So this bridge will actually shake.
So while we make our way to JIfen, we passed by a town and we saw a McDonald's, which is very rare to see it in Taiwan. We decided to give it a try.
This is our first McDonald's. So we came to McDonald's because of this pork burger series. So this is milk tea. We love milk tea here. And there's no chili sauce, only ketchup. So this is the pork burger.
So from the McDonald's, we took Route 2D and then all the way to Route 102 to enter into JIfen Old Street, which is about 6 kilometers away.
白牌平50放加热100
So it's really hard to find a parking space even for bike in JIfen.
So it's raining here, yeah, but there's still tons of crowd. So no way you get free parking. It's always paid parking. So these are not sheltered. Motorcycle can come in. Sweet potato and yam. So these are meatball and fishball soup. These are XXL ice cream puff. So these are like basically all the souvenir store, local snack, and the movie related kind of merchandise. a-zhi peanut ice cream. So even there's a halal selection. So this is what peanut, sugar peanut cake with ice cream. Bao. So this is a coriander. So it's like a popiah roll. So it's a sorbet, similar one to the one that we ate earlier. This back alley leads to nowhere, I guess. A charcoal chocolate.
So the whole JIfen is pretty crowded regardless of which alley you are in. Even in the rain, people are coming and walking all around, and everyone wants to head over to the part where they say it looks like the Spirit Away scene. I personally find that there are even better scenery around other than that location.
Okay, getting back to the car park is also a chore when it's raining and full of people and full of cars.
So after the quick tour in JIfen Old Street, so we decided to head down to the northernmost point of Taiwan. So we took the B road and then we merged ourselves back to the Route 2. Along the way, you will pass by the famous Tiaosi area, which is very near to the coast, where I think there's a trend where people go there to take photo. We didn't stop by and check that out because it's getting late. Our key objective is to reach the northernmost point before sunset. At the end, we still couldn't make it. It's nightfall and it requires some walk to the lighthouse. So we decided to just drop the idea and move on. So we took off from the most northern point of Taiwan and then we took Route 2 along Tanshui area and then we transferred to Route 2B and entering into the next place that we are heading to, which is the Shifen area that we are going to stay there for the next few nights. We also witnessed some motorcycle accident along the way because the kaypoh nature of a Singaporean. We are too focused on checking out the accident. I have took the wrong route. It cost us a little detour. It took us a little longer to get back to the hotel to have ourselves changed with all the wet clothes that we have been wearing for the whole day.
Okay, so today we will be staying in this hotel for the next few days, but we're still in Taipei. So this is the room, pretty much standard, very big TV. So the tendency is always to have a bathtub everywhere, and then the very Japanese kind of toilet. So this is Aogang, not the Aogang that we know of. So many of them are out to get their trash done.
After the quick washout, we decided to head to the nearby Shifen night market to check out what's available and what can we eat there because we are a little bit hungry. So there are a lot of gaming stores there that we find it pretty interesting, like 1-to-1 mahjong.
Big oyster, small oyster.
So we saw this Michelin Guide mee sua, so we decided to give it a try.
Big interesting oyster and squid or octopus.
And we saw this very long queue. It's leading towards this store that sells rice sausage wrapping the normal sausage. We came a little bit late, so most of the store is packing up, prepared to close for the day. So we bought ourselves some drinks and some skewer. So on the way back, we saw this 24-hour DIY ramen store. So we decided to give it a try.
So this is the spice level.
You have to pick your own ramen and you have to go to the machine and choose what you have picked and pay, which is pretty lame in my opinion because you can just randomly choose anything. No one is checking you. Then you pick up all the utensils and whatnot and you open up the ramen and pour everything into the aluminum foil container, and then you proceed to the free flow vegetable section to pick your own vegetable. Then you move on to the cooking station to get it cooked. You can buy an egg or you can add the free condiment if you need some more enhancement on the flavor. Once the cooking is done, you can choose the seat available there. Thereafter, you have to clean it up on your own, which you have to do the separation between the utensil and the unfinished food, which I think is pretty hard to enforce, but I guess it's a cultural thing. And that's all for part 3 on this journey for the round island trip in Taiwan. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next part of this series. Bye bye.